March 9th, 2007, Kish Island, Iran. A sun-drenched resort destination in the Persian Gulf. Tourists sip tea along the beach, palm trees sway in the warm breeze. But somewhere on this tranquil island, a man vanishes. Just gone. No gunshots, no cries for help, no frantic 911 calls. One moment he was there. The next, nothing. His name was Bob Levinson, a father, a husband, and a CIA contractor. Officially a retired FBI agent on private business. That's where things get complicated and very dark. This is the story of the longest-held American hostage in history. Or was he even held at all? Because the real mystery isn't just who took him, it's why. And more disturbingly, did someone let it happen? Bob Levinson was no stranger to danger. Decades in the FBI, known for tracking down Russian mobsters, Colombian drug lords, and Wall Street criminals. He was relentless, smart, quietly bold. But after retiring, Bob didn't slow down. He wanted more. In his 60s, when most men start thinking about golf courses, Bob started working with the CIA. Not officially, not on the books. But deep inside the murky corridors of Langley, Bob was part of a rogue CIA program, run by analysts, not trained operatives. Analysts, desk workers eager to play James Bond. They hired Bob for freelance intel work, without approval, without oversight. That would later explode into one of the CIA's biggest internal scandals. But let's rewind. Back to that March morning. Bob arrives in Kish Island. No visa needed. Perfect for a covert mission. He checks into a hotel. He meets a source, Dawood Salahuddin, an American convert to Islam. And get this, a fugitive wanted for murdering an Iranian diplomat in Washington, D.C. in 1980. Bob claimed he was there to make a documentary, but Salahuddin later said Bob was there to talk about regime change. A few hours after their meeting, Bob disappears. Just like that. Here's where things get weird. No one, not the hotel, not the island police, not even Iranian intelligence, acknowledged ever seeing Bob again. No arrest, no body, just a vanishing act. But then, a fax, sent to Bob's family from an unknown source. "I am alive," it said. Then, silence. 2 years passed. Then suddenly, a photograph. Bob, with a long gray beard, dressed in an orange Guantanamo-style jumpsuit, holding a sign that read, "Help me." It was a gut punch. Proof of life. Proof of captivity. But who was holding him? The US government pointed fingers at Iran. Iran denied everything. And that leads us to Theory 1. Theory 1. Held by Iran's Revolutionary Guard. The most accepted theory is also the most disturbing. That Bob was arrested by Iran's Revolutionary Guard and kept as a pawn, a bargaining chip. But if that's true, why keep it a secret? Why not demand a trade? Well, maybe they did. Some believe Iran wanted to swap Bob for Iranian prisoners in US custody, but the talks collapsed. Or worse, maybe Washington just didn't push hard enough. Because here's the painful truth. Bob wasn't supposed to be in Iran. He wasn't on an official mission. And once the CIA realized this rogue operation had gone off the rails, they panicked. They covered it up. For years, the agency denied Bob was working for them. His family was left in the dark, fighting for answers, begging for help, all while their father, husband, grandfather, was somewhere begging too. But then comes Theory 2, and it changes everything. Theory 2, betrayed by the CIA. What if Bob wasn't just abandoned by the CIA? What if he was set up? Some insiders believe Bob may have stumbled into something far bigger than regime change. He wasn't supposed to meet Salahuddin, a known enemy of the US. What if someone inside wanted to silence Bob, to let him fall into enemy hands, to bury the scandal before it reached Washington? Because after Bob disappeared, heads started to roll. The rogue CIA team was dismantled. Analysts were fired, careers destroyed. But there was a delay. The truth took years to come out. Why? Some say the agency tried to distance itself at the cost of one man's life. And the worst part? There may have been a chance to bring Bob home, early, alive, but no one acted. No one risked their reputation, so Bob waited and waited. Then, in 2020, after 13 years of uncertainty, Bob's family made a heartbreaking announcement. They had received intelligence. Bob had died in Iranian custody. No details, no timeline, no body, just loss. Crushing, empty, unconfirmed loss. And yet, Iran still denies holding him. To this day, Theory 3 vanished in plain sight. Now, here's a theory most don't dare to voice, but it lingers like a shadow in the room. What if Bob wasn't captured at all? What if he chose to disappear? Some point to inconsistencies. No CCTV footage from the hotel. No verified sighting after the meeting. Only one photo ever released. And no demands for ransom or trade from Iran. What if Bob feared for his life, or knew the CIA had turned on him and decided to vanish on his own terms? Maybe he's buried in some unmarked grave in Iran. Maybe he escaped to a quiet corner of the world. Maybe he's watching and waiting for his name to be cleared. Unlikely? Yes. Impossible. Nothing about this case is impossible. Bob Levinson's story isn't just about one man. It's about a system that swallowed him whole. He served his country for decades, then was used, disavowed, and ultimately forgotten. His wife Christine once said, "We need to bring Bob home, not just for us, for America, to show we don't abandon our own." But time passed, and America moved on. No official closure, no body returned, no justice. Just a photograph, a whisper, a mystery. Bob Levinson walked into Kish Island and vanished into the sand. Was he held in a secret prison, betrayed by his own government? Or did he disappear because he knew too much? All we have are theories, fragments, and a haunting silence. But maybe, one day the truth will surface. Until then, Bob Levinson remains a ghost, trapped between nations and between the lines. Don't forget to subscribe and tell us, what do you think happened to Bob Levinson?